Good morning, everyone. We just got the new beta 10.69.2. This is literally my very first drive with this. So usually I try to drive it first, see how it goes. But from what I've read from other people online, this build has been pretty good for them. So we're just going to go for it. I actually set a waypoint to IKEA. So we'll be heading from Sacramento area. We're going to go through the city, onto the interstate, and then all the way down to city streets to IKEA. Okay, so it shouldn't have signal there, but that was kind of strange. That was kind of weird. It was last minute, so it stopped. It's just because there's a lot of traffic in this area. There's cars behind me, and so actually was just reacting to that car coming around the curve. I just had to tap the throttle because I have a motorcyclist right behind me. Oh. So this curve's actually really difficult. You can't really see that traffic light up until you literally get to this, around the curve. So normally what I do, since it's a blind curve, I decelerate ahead of time because, this is literally a computer. It reacts directly to the stoplight, the traffic light. And since it couldn't see it, it just kind of like brakes immediately once it does see it. But I've never had it not brake for that traffic light correctly. But one thing would be nice is like an anticipatory blind curve. The car knows there's a traffic light coming up, and if it could actually, decelerate ahead of time since it is a blind curve, that would be pretty helpful. Now this curve is really tight. In the past, it's really struggled here. It's great. It still does the funny turn signal here. It's done it, I think, since the car started being able to handle that curve. It's turn signaling there. It's kind of funny. That was a boot. I don't know if you guys saw that. There was literally a shoe in the road. We didn't hit it. Oh, this is interesting. So this build, I'm feeling the car slightly react to cars coming around the curve now. Again, I hate how it does this here. Like, the car positions itself very far. I mean, I guess it's fine because it let the motorcyclist by, but it shouldn't have done that. It shouldn't have justified so far to the right where it basically allowed the car behind to pass. Maybe it did that on purpose because it knew it was a motorcyclist. I'm not entirely sure, but that was kind of different for me. Now, I'm going 40 here. I guess it's technically a 35, but I have a row of cars behind me. So I actually have my FSD set to set the speed limit always 5 over, just because traffic goes so fast in literally every area I drive in. I normally have to go about 10 over in this particular area just because everyone drives so fast. So it didn't signal until the last minute. I didn't like that behavior. It should have signaled to show the intent. Again, signal to show intent. It didn't signal to show intent there. It's definitely configured to only signal when you're a distance from the actual turn. Like, again, I would have signaled to get into this particular turn lane. But I know they improve it every single release, so I'm not griping on it. It's just the car's driving so much better. Like I said, I think I've tweeted this a couple times. I rarely have to disengage. Like, the only disengagement that I actually had was because I felt like it got too close to a trailer that was parked on the road. So I disengaged as I just felt it was too close. And this is wrong, by the way, the speed limit. We're on an interstate, so this is wrong. So that's why I'm bumping the speed up. Yeah, we're getting now to the point where I'm not disengaging because it's doing something wrong. I'm only bringing up issues with like turn signal behavior. And that's kind of it, you know, just some fine tuning around turns. Like it felt a little bit close on some of the curves I was going around, but not to the point where I knew it was going to hit anything where I would have to disengage. Unlike early builds, I would disengage because, you know, it would run up a curb if you let the car do its thing. It doesn't do that anymore. This 10.69 series has been phenomenal for me. So what you saw here was we actually went FSD city streets onto an on-ramp onto the interstate. So now we're on Interstate 80 heading westbound. Okay, here we go. Now it's going to transition back to Fsdbeta. So I wish it would signal here. Signal? Okay, at least it signaled. So because we have traffic behind us, it needs to make sure it's. That was strange. Oh, it's because it's really hard to see the lines here. You couldn't even see the lines. The little reflectors were all popped off back there. You could kind of see where the tar marks were, but it found where it needed to go. You know, one thing, I don't know if a lot of people have talked about this, one thing I really miss about having radar is the lack of visibility of the car in front of the car in front of you. So like, you used to be able to see at least 2 cars with radar, and with vision you can't. Even though like with my eyes, I can see through that window and there's definitely another car there, and it doesn't show it. But, you know, that's one thing I really miss about radar. It's very useful on the highway in high speed situations. So if the car in front of you is failing to react because they're distracted from texting, which like everyone is, my car would have braked if there's a car slowing down in front of them and they're you know, slow to react. And that's one thing I really miss. So here again, turn signal. We have cars behind us and didn't signal at all. It just moved over. You know, Tesla, if you need to do one thing with the beta, you need to do that. You need to add intention, because it really upsets people that are around me because it's not signaling the intent to switch lanes. You know, that's been my thing for like the last year since we went to the new 10 dot branch, and we need the car to signal intent. You know, if we're going to transition from any lane, like if we deviate from this lane to another, signal. I don't care if it's a turn or not. If I'm going to go over there, I need my signal to go on and tell everyone around me that I'm doing that. It's not just for my benefit, you know, for one, I can be ticketed, and secondly, it needs to tell everyone around me what my car is going to do. That's my little rant. But this is pretty awesome, you guys. I drove 25 minutes or so from my home all the way through town onto an on-ramp and onto the interstate. Okay, it didn't handle that very well. And I didn't have any disengagement. Now, that, honestly, like, that was really strange behavior, that roundabout behavior, the painted roundabout. I didn't really care for how it handled that roundabout behavior back there with the painted lines. But it drove us to IKEA, which is pretty amazing.